Cheers to episode 3.
What are we doing today, Gabby?
Well, today, as you know, is the season finale. Welcome back to our series. We're on episode 3 of installing all of our components on this JL Wrangler. So if you guys missed it, in the very first episode, we installed upper and lower control arms and these new springs. These are a little bit taller than what was previously on this Wrangler. Episode 2, we installed a bunch of stuff on the rear, upper lower control arms, and a track bar, but we have to kind of make some adjustments to that in this video today. And for today's video, we're installing a drag leg, track bar, and tie rods and end links on the front end, putting the wheels on, and really buttoning up this build for today.
Also, we are going to be showing you how to dial in your front track bar, an easy way to do it, and make sure it's pretty spot on so when you take it over to alignment, they don't have to change much.
Just so everybody's aware, in the first video, if you need help with taking everything off, we did most of that in the first video. But today we'll be taking off the tie rod, is the last front component that we'll be needing to remove before we get everything else installed.
All right, so when you go to set up your steering, it's actually best to do your measurements of your factory tie rod and drag link while they're installed on the Jeep. For this video, we took them off first, and these joints are pretty tight, so they haven't moved. But we really want to just get as close to factory as we can when we're setting this up. So we're going to measure, and we're going to set our new tie rod to the same length before we bolt it on. So it's actually a lot easier to adjust your tie rod while it's installed on the Jeep because you just spin the body up. So we're going to bolt it on as is, and then we're going to adjust it out to 61 inches bolt to bolt or end to end, nut to nut, because that's about what this one is. Anyways, the goal is just to get it close enough so you can drive it to the alignment shop and get it dialed in. Yeah, Zerk to Zerk is the same thing. Okay, now that we got the tie rod bolted in and semi-aligned, we're going to set up our steering stabilizer. In order to do that, you kind of need to line it up, and the best way is to turn your tie rod or turn your wheels all the way driver, and then we're going to collapse this steering stabilizer completely and then back off about 1/8 of an inch, and that's how we're going to line this up on the tie rod. So we'll show you how to do that. Oh, geez. So Gabby, this is like 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, that's good. Look at that.
Like a glove.
Goes right on. Okay, so now we have it fully collapsed and backed off 1/8 of an inch. And this is where it lines up on the tie rod, so we're just going to bolt it on right there. So we measured this and got it close. Now we're going to bolt it in. On these, one thing to mention, on some of the Jeep models, your traction control can freak out if your steering wheel is not close to center. So we're going to do a little bit of adjusting if we're too far off. So we're pretty confident with our length on the tie rod, so we went ahead and tightened the jam nuts down. We're going to hold off on the drag link until we have the track bar in and the wheels on and everything else adjusted so we can get the steering wheel straight. But for now, we're going to throw on the Crawler Series end links. Just a reminder on these, the spacer goes on top to match the factory offset. They'll mount up just like this. We're a little off right now because everything's in the air. But yeah, let's get at it. Just a point of note, on the passenger side, the factory axle has a bracket that's a little narrow, so you just need to pry it apart a little bit in order to bolt the end links in.
Perfect. So as you can see, we put the Jeep down on its own weight. It is easier to install the track bar using the weight of the vehicle while it's on the ground than it is in the air. So we're going to show you a really easy tip or trick on how to get that properly aligned without using ratchet straps. All you're going to need is somebody helping you at the wheel while you try to get the track bar installed.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this track bar installed, and believe it or not, this is one of the easiest things to do on the ground. Lining up is actually really hard to do in the air. So the trick we're going to show you is we'll bolt the axle side in, and then if you just have a buddy turning the steering wheel back and forth, you can actually shift the body just using your steering, and it'll move it left to right until you get it bolted up. So we're going to start at about 34 inches bolt to bolt on this. That's just the starting length. So let's get it in. Close. See? There we go. Go back and forth. Okay, now go the other way. Okay, now go the other way again. Stop. Come back a little. Come back a little. There we go. So now that we got the track bar on and everything's close, we're going to straighten out our steering wheel. Right now it's at about a 90-degree angle, and if you try to drive like that, your traction control can give you issues. So you want to do this with the weight of the Jeep on the ground, with your tires pointing straight. So we'll just adjust the drag link until the steering wheel is close to the center, enough to get it to the alignment shop.
So as you spin that, it turns the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. We have all the parts finally installed on this JL Wrangler. We're going to go ahead and make some minor adjustments to the front and rear track bar now that the vehicle is on its own weight. We're going to torque everything down to spec, and we have to top off everything with a little bit of grease. So just a couple of things to keep in mind. Since we installed new springs, we have to let it settle for a little bit, drive it around just a little bit to help get it to settle before taking it out to get an alignment. And after a few hundred miles, it's really, really important to re-torque everything to spec just to make sure that everything's tight. Thank you so much for joining us on this series. It was really fun to kind of go into more detail on each specific component and really break down the installation and a lot of these products for you. So it'll be linked down below if you guys are interested or just want to take another look. All the other videos will also be linked if you missed them. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Yay, that's a wrap.